Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 245. We're here in the Carriage House Bar. It is morning time. This is going to be a fun episode because we got so much to talk about, I think.
We cracked beers before 8 o'clock, so you know it's already going to be a successful later day.
It's going to be a great episode. And, I mean, we've never even discussed it. We might have discussed breakfast beer before, but I don't think we've ever really discussed it in depth.
We've discussed it off camera when we started off days and we've done our bobos and stuff. One of my beers today is there's a certain style of beer I like to crack in the morning. So one of those beers, a little foreshadowing for the Chuggalos.
Just a little bit of foreshadowing. Well, cheers to the morning. I have one piece of beer news, but it's not really news because it's not real. But
a lot of news these days isn't real.
I've debated how I wanted to deliver it just because I don't want people to get offended, but so recently you might have heard the Biden administration has been talking about limiting the consumption of beer.
Shenanigans.
To 2 a week. And I was like, maybe I should get in like an Alex Jones persona, Like, the government's trying to limit our beer.
That's actually really good.
They're trying to turn the frogs gay. Stuff like that.
If you do that, can I have like infomercials during where I'm trying to sell like blankets instead of pillows? Because pillows are taken. Like I'll sell blankets.
Oh, God, those pillows. Those are the I sidebar, and we're not sponsored obviously by MyPillow, but I've tried a MyPillow. It is the single worst pillow I've ever tried in my entire life. Like it is fucking garbage.
It is. It's so bad that you want to give it to somebody and you'd be like, "This is your pillow." So yourpillow.com instead of you just gift it because you're not using it.
I wouldn't even gift it. I would gift it to the garbage can. It's just a terrible pillow. It doesn't provide any support to your neck or anything.
It's I have 3 different pillows on my bed at any one time, and I rotate just depending on what I want for that moment.
I could use a rock as a pillow. I go to Walmart and I get the one that says extra firm. That's the
pillow
I
use. Can't.
I love that pillow. It makes me sleep like a baby.
My problem is I hold on to pillows for too long. Like the pillows have a life. A life.
They do, yeah. You need to get rid of them. People.
Length of life.
Your drool and your sweat wind up
100%
weighing your pillow down. Just get new pillows every 6 months. Or so.
Treat yourself. Know what? You're worth it.
You're worth it.
I have a couple of things.
They're trying to limit the amount of beers we're gonna drink. Just the 2 beers. What is the deal with that? What do you think about that?
Do you have
thoughts on that?
You're popping the boys early. This is like where they're to help out the environment. We should limit the beef consumption. Like I understand that. That's got real like implications.
I get it. I do get it.
But beer, what's the implication there? Is it a health? That's
a good question. I don't know because we should limit the consumption of like crack cocaine to 0 a week and fentanyl especially. That stuff's killing everybody.
Yeah, wow. We could pull on a lot of strings. Speaking of Alex Jones with fentanyl, but with beer. I would need to know to what end.
It might be a health thing. Maybe America's too fat. I don't know.
They are. There was a recent study, speaking of two veterans, that 77% of kids that go to talk to like a recruiter or whatever that show interest in joining the military are overweight or can't do the physical components. 77%.
Wow, that's too much.
It's it is a disturbing trend.
Maybe there's a solution there in that boot camp. Do an extra 2 to 3 weeks of boot camp for each service, and have a program like an entry program where the first couple weeks is just cutting weight.
Yeah, I mean we had one kid. I went through basic 20 plus years ago. We had a kid that went to what we called fat camp. So he went to the 319th Air Force, and we just didn't see him anymore because he was a bigger. But I wouldn't say even then. I wouldn't say he was grotesque or an oddity or whatever. Like he still passed MEPS. But he disappeared. We never saw him again.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It wasn't medical, but they sent him to fat camp. Or like you say, work with those individuals. But I think it's so streamlined because of cost. Yeah. Like I don't know.
Well, we don't want like an overweight military, but war's changing.
Yeah.
We could get into that, but we don't have to. It's just, we don't want an overweight military. But we also don't need... Like, we're not storming a lot of beaches in the future, I don't think. We're going to be storming the cyber.
No, and this is something where I've talked, where a lot of people, 22 years in, a lot of people will, like, fail their fitness test or whatever. But a lot of these guys and gals are they have other components. So like a lot of our firefighters are big, husky men. And if you bust 39 inches on your waist, which we would all say, whatever, but these guys could carry 2 or 3 dudes out of a burning aircraft. And they do it, and there's other components, like they do the neck measurement. Well, now they've gotten rid of, at least in the Air Force, they've gotten rid of the waist measurement and the weight measurement. They just capture that information for diagnostic notes. But as long as you can do the physical components, they don't care. You could be, the Kool-Aid man out there.
That's really the sad part about the military is that, like, they're like youth baseball teams have like the most up-to-date, insane technology. Yeah. But the U.S. military is like measuring their waistlines and necklines. It's like you. If we're supposed to be the greatest fighting force in the world, you'd think that they'd have the best technology.
The Space Force, they're using the Aura. They're using the ring.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, to monitor. Continuous. And you can opt into it. I don't know specifically because we're just tangentially related to the Space Force with the Air Force. But it's nice that they're looking towards getting away from, Archimedes, doing the tabulations and going to like, future, technology. Yeah. Technology solutions.
I'd be good with fitness watches. I mean, they give people, all this time off to go PT. How many people use it, do you think?
Oh yeah, that's one of the worst abused systems. I mean, 3 hours a week.
Hands down. So give them watches, then you know. I don't know anything about the ring, but anyway, I think this is kind of a weird take that people largely disagree with. But we made our way up the food chain. It took, I don't know how long it took. Maybe it took 1,000 years. Maybe it took 1,000,000 years. But within the human species, some people just aren't surviving as the fittest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you just legalize everything and let people make decisions, I think eventually there won't be any more. This might be a really naive view, but like let's say you legalized heroin. Within like 50 years, maybe heroin will just not exist anymore. Because
I see what you're saying.
All the people who take it will probably abuse it to the point where they'll ruin their lives. This is a horrible take, I know. Yeah. But like, maybe we don't need to be monitored as hard as we are. Maybe some of this stuff is proliferated because it's illegal.
Like the fact that you make it, artificially unavailable. Yeah. Is what makes people desire it.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. The words evade me on how I wanted to phrase it, but artificially like.
I've thought about this before. There's obviously no empirical evidence to suggest it would work, but maybe just stop getting in people's lives. Don't limit how much beer we can consume. I'm worried about drunk driving. Yeah, but.
I've told this stat before, and it's related to beer specifically. So Wisconsin was famously the last state in the union that gave up the 0.1 blood alcohol content for driving. And the only reason they gave it up is because the federal government said, you're the only state, we're going to make it 0.08 nationwide. Mm-hmm. You can't be different. And Wisconsin just flicked them off the whole time. And they said, we're gonna pull all your federal highway funding or interstate funding, and then Wisconsin then ponied up to the bar.
I mean that's the age old argument, states versus federal.
But since we've started this, Wisconsin, again, whatever tabulation that you use is the hardest or most drinking state per capita by county, by colleges, all of that. Any stat that you look at it, other people, Dr. just posted it on Facebook here a couple of weeks ago, and I go like Wisconsin stumbles into the room. It's just a part of the culture. Yeah, yeah. It is ingrained. Like in Wisconsin, if you're with your parents, you can order a beer. You go over the border to Minnesota, absolutely not. I mean, I grew up with this. Wisconsin, these are just quick hits. You turn 21 at midnight. So my birthday's on St. Patrick's Day. I'm out on the 16th. At the 17th at 12:01, I can go into the bar. Minnesota, it has to be that full day. You can't go at midnight. Like there's rules. And that's just comparing the two states I'm most familiar with.
I know in Illinois it's midnight.
Yeah. So, but it has to be your full day. You can't be with your parents. Just again, when I say it's a part of the culture, like
You can't be with your parents?
well, you can't order a beer. Like they can
Your
close.
dad can't order a beer and give it to you.
Correct.
Okay.
But in Wisconsin, I can order a beer, and then the waitress or the waiter just looks at my parents, and they're like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Wow. Well, so Wisconsin's the Russia of America.
Yeah, the Russia. We pay. Oh, sorry, that's loud. Yeah, I mean, we're known for our drinking and our toilet paper. So, I mean, that's how Russia.
Right.
That's how Russia was paying their teachers for a long time, was toilet paper.
Oh, really?
Toilet paper or vodka, you had a choice.
Oh.
And then you could barter.
Tough choice. What if you need both? You
gotta
gotta work extra. Is there an overtime?
Because you don't want a bidet with a vodka. Just if you have a nick, she's gonna get you.
You want to have a bidet with a vodka.
Yeah, with vodka, you don't want to splash that up in there.
Oh, you don't want the bidet to have vodka in the pipes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't want that.
In case.
That's for sure. You don't want that. All right, what do you got?
A couple of things.
Yeah.
One, Royce never got back to us.
Oh,
it's like the first episode that he hasn't liked. So Royce, we'll shout out.
We're missing you, Royce.
Slip into the DMs. I wrote another note. Content. I'll come back to that one. And JT and I didn't realize this until we stopped recording. We just passed our 5th anniversary. Yeah. We're in our 6th year. It was August 7th, 2018, with the first time we hit record, and we did Pipeworks.
Yep.
So we totally missed it. We're Labor Day 2023, so we're entering our 6th year, and still going strong. I was going to do the math. So going into 6 years, 245 episodes. I mean, we're averaging, Math in Public, still 50 a year, 50.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include all the shorts.
Right.
So for a weekly episodic,
the Advent calendar.
Yeah, the Advent calendar.
Bumps it up.
I think. I mean, this plus all the people doing the Advent calendar. I mean, again, but the mothership episodes, 245.
Yeah.
Going into 6 years, that's. Amazing. What did I mean by content? This is why I need to take better notes.
Probably that we needed more content.
Probably. Always more content.
We're good with that.
I love the dramatic pause.
That was a good pause. That's a great pause.
All right. Because we're going to talk about everything in between anyways. We're going to get to the first beer.
Let's do it.
So I battled, and we actually did a little bit of pre-production. I told JT. I battled with what beer we were going to do first.
I mean, when I came in, he was like,
I was
battling emotionally and mentally.
This is going to be a big one. So this is 10 years of High Wire. Listen to this one, Chuggalos.
Listen to this.
It's a blend of bourbon barrel aged 10W40 Imperial Stout. So we've done the motor oil.
40, yeah.
A bourbon barrel aged barley wine ale. And a bourbon barrel-aged Belgian-style quad, all in one can.
Wow. Holy crap.
You get that.
So I like the way that they did that.
At a 10.2.
At a 10.2.
So
thanks for bringing this while I'm at my home of residence.
Right, see? Again.
I can really indulge.
We sit here, and I know the Chuggalos probably don't see it. I haven't seen the Carriage House in quite a while, being gone in time and stuff like that. I need to get over here more often. The cacophony of what JT's got going on behind us is amazing. He's like, just help yourself. And obviously I'm going to drink the bleach because I'm a bro and we need to get rid of it.
I appreciate that so much.
But with this beer, I knew it was going to be a podcast beer. I bought this at Pat's. Let's go with the crack.
Yep.
Hopefully and then I'll get more into the story. She's primed.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. So I bought this at Pat's, and I was like, I didn't know the alcohol content this morning until I was doing some pre-production when I got up at 5:30. You keep checking, it makes me worried.
No, I got I wanted to see if I had a tall boy koozie. I do, actually. I didn't think I did.
Otherwise, I got another one. Holy shit.
I didn't think I did.
All right. So anyways, I bought this because I want more barley wines in my life.
Yes.
I really do.
I think it needs to, again, proliferate.
I saw this as a barley wine. I didn't know it was a blend of 3 different styles, and I didn't know that it was only at 10.2 because barley wines I give 12 plus.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's that bourbon barrel aged stout and that quad, really, man, the blending that has to be done by the brewmasters at Highwire has got to be exceptional. So a little bit about Highwire. This is their 10-year anniversary beer that they've done. They're proliferated all throughout the country. Their main headquarters, their mothership is in Asheville, North Carolina. We've talked about that, like the preponderance of good beer, good craft beer. And I had a couple of friends, husband and husband, that we namesaked the episode they're going to Asheville, and she asked me for recommendations when they're down there. And I provided a little bit based on what Chuggalos Stev and what JT have said.
What'd you say?
Burial first.
Burial.
The Funkatorium, because there's multiple.
Funkatorium for sure.
There's multiple different locations. You got to go to the Funkatorium.
You got to go to the Funkatorium.
Because they have a couple of other, and then what was the third one? Wicked Wheat Burial, but Burial was by far and away.
Well, Wicked Wheat is the
Funkatorium. That's why. Yeah, that's why I had
Man
to.
Is pretty good, but yeah, Burial. I would say Burial. I don't know, first or last. That would be a great debate if we ever went to Asheville. Whether you should do it first or last, because you could cut your visit short and just hang at Burial for a while.
Yeah.
Or you do it first, knowing that you have to leave.
So again, because they plied me with information when I went out to Hood River, and it was great. Portland, again, like Asheville, beer cities. Mm-hmm. You know, they're known for their beer.
Yeah.
So you can find out more by going to highwirebrewing.com. They have my most gigantic pet peeve of all time. When you go there, they prompt you for your email. I just want the information, Jack. Like, I know where to go sign up. Like, hey, if you want to sign up, don't put that as your splash screen. The age stuff, I understand. That's the lawman coming in. You know, we can talk about.
That's required.
But again, the hallmarks of Highwire are they're approachable and balanced, which I find interesting considering the undertaking that they took with this beer, mixing 3 different large, heavy alcohol, not heavy in viscosity, styles that they did with this beer. And I'm glad that they made it an anniversary beer.
Yeah. Boy, what an amazing, got to use another Matt word, cacophony, because that's the only word that really makes sense here. They just threw it all together. Bourbon barrel aged.
Yeah.
Imperial stout, barley wine ale, Belgian style quad. Holy shit.
Right?
So the only beer on here that I haven't done any research on, and this is, I think that coming up on our 6th year here, not coming up on, but being in our 6th year.
In our 6th year.
I think that we along the way, especially if this podcast picks up steam in viewership, early on, probably the novice beer drinker would be interested in this podcast and no one else. But along the way, we could pick up some people who are interested in talking about technical beer, because we've gotten better at discussing beer. But the only thing on here that I haven't ever researched, so if you're a seasoned beer drinker and you're intelligent about brewing, I don't know what a Belgian style quad really is.
So that's just like, so when you go like a Belgian style or whatever, you're expecting something with a lot of particulates, a lot of float to it, a lot of like a Hefeweizen. But the Belgian style quad is their amped up version of a Belgian beer.
What is quad? Is that like a quadruple something?
Quadrupel. Like,
quadrupel.
So not quadruple.
Triple.
Yeah. Like tripel versus triple.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, let's do the can art here. And this is still sponsored by Chuggalo.
Craig.
I saw some of Craig's stuff recently.
Yeah, they were just on a hurricane cruise.
See here, let's see. Try to get a little bit of light there. Can't really see it too well. Oh yeah, there we go. That's better. I have brighter lights, but they're not in here because this is a bar and it shouldn't be so lit. My office is like so bright. Anyway, this is the Can Opener segment brought to you by Chuggalo Craig. Thanks, Craig. The Highwire does a pretty good job with their can art. They also have a really good logo that is unoffensive. and looks good on a t-shirt. It's the man on a high wire with the balancing pole rod thing. But in this case, it is a hippopotamus with its mouth agape.
Agape, yeah.
Like just execution style, point blank range on a cannon. And it's like and the backdrop would make you believe that there's a circus. It's a circus setting. And with high wire, that makes sense. So a hippopotamus with its mouth just almost around, with a cannon almost within the mouth of the hippopotamus. Now hippos, we've been conditioned as American children to think that hippos are fun-loving, hungry animals that eat pebbles, but they're mean as fuck.
Yeah,
like
hippos.
If you go on a safari in Africa, well, first of all, if you have the money to go on a safari in Africa, you're either a dumb rich kid or you're a smart rich like adult. So the right person will get eaten by the hippo, but don't fuck with hippos. That's the key here.
A little bit about hippos, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Probably.
Hippos are actually an invasive species in Colombia because of...
we have talked about this.
Because of the drug lord.
Escobar.
Yeah, Pablo Escobar had 2 hippos imported, and put them in his lagoon or whatever.
Female.
A male and female, and then they proliferated. So now in Colombia, there's multi-generations of hippos, and they don't know what to do with them.
All inbred too.
Yeah, and they don't know what to do with them because they're completely invasive. They're
That's
unruly.
crazy.
They're a couple of tons each, and they completely destroy the indigenous wildlife. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say what they do, not just the actual wildlife, but the flora and fauna that's in the area also. So they're trying to put them down.
God, imagine just being... I watch a lot of history documentaries, and I'd like to imagine myself living in that time. Like, I couldn't do it most of the time. Most of history, it's just, I was born in the right time, obviously. You're always born in the right time because that's where you survive. But, like, imagine just living in the world. Let's say I was born in Africa in the, ancient times where fucking hippos are just wild animals. They're not on, what do they call them, reserves?
Yeah, nature preserves.
Yeah, they're not there. They're just in the wild, and you're like, oh, there's a hippo. Holy shit, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
This thing's gonna charge me, and I'm gonna die. That's crazy. So that's happening in Colombia.
Yeah. So hundreds of them. So they're trying to put them down
crazy.
or whatever. But no one ever talks about like a hippo burger or whatever. So I'm hoping that they do something with like the meat or the flesh or whatever like that. At least in the for those people. Otherwise, you're just killing them to put them down.
Well, Central American vacations, I know Colombia's in South America, but Central American vacations are becoming more affordable, and they're all-inclusive usually. Maybe the hippo burger is something they should consider to draw in some of the American crowd.
Yeah, I know my best friend and his family are going to Belize next year.
Costa Rica, Belize. These types of places are a lot of fun.
When we went on a cruise, our first cruise, we went to Belize and we went to Roatan, the island off of Honduras.
Okay.
And in Belize, because English is the mainland, it's the only country in Central America where the English is the predominantly spoken and the official language.
Not Panama?
No.
They don't speak English? Oh, shit.
They speak English, but it's not the official.
Everyone kind of speaks English everywhere.
We're
lucky. We're lucky.
For dollar reduce, yeah.
Yeah.
And but they pointed out like all the different, when we did like a booze cruise, they pointed out all like Tiger Woods has a estate down there, like a bunch of their money's down there.
Yeah, there's money down there.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so hippos. This hippo's got his mouth around a cannon, and this cannon is it's not large enough to be like a human cannon. It's probably shooting cannonballs. So this hippo's fucked. I don't care how strong a hippo is, it doesn't stand a chance against a cannon.
I mean, remember that old-timey video where that bigger guy back in the day takes a
hits
cannonball and it ripples?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Do you think that was real? It had to be like
that cannonball was like it was like a quarter powder.
Yeah,
it was enough to get it out.
Explosive. Yeah.
It was just a solid ball, but just enough to make it. There's a reason they slowed it down.
Yeah, and then at the top of the banner of the 10 years, it's the normal high wire logo. The man with his back towards the perspective, balancing on a high wire. And then on the back, so if you go to high wire, this is the shirt. What the shirt would look like without the 10. It would be a black background with a silhouette of a balancing person.
A trapeze artist, or who is the?
Well, trapeze is the
the swinging. Who's the?
This is the high wire.
Who's the Wandas?
The
Walindas, the flying Walindas.
The flying Walindas.
No, they're the trapeze artists. Who's the high wire family that they did the high wire?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I have no idea. In the movie Madagascar, I think the second one, they're like
the flying Walindas,
imprisoned to a circus, right? I think that what I thought you were referring to was Wanda Sykes' character.
Oh yeah, no.
And I don't remember which character she
plays
in.
Yeah, Carl Walinda, German high wire artist. Yeah, they've like walked between I think they walked between the Twin Towers, back in the day, but and they won't use like safety wires or guide wires or whatever. Because sometimes if you see them, there's guide wires, so like it's as stiff as a 2x4 because they have the guide wires off the main, and they're pretty girthy.
There's no appetite for this kind of stuff anymore.
Like gone are the days of like the spectacle, the wide world of sports, like ABC in the 70s did with Evil Knievel and all of these like offshoots, and then tangentially related. They brought back ESPN. I know we kind of ragged on them in the last couple of weeks, but they brought back ESPN the Ocho, and they did.
Oh yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
They do it once a year.
Yeah, 48 hours.
I missed it. Damn, I didn't know. When does it come back? July?
It was July, early August or whatever. But it was interesting because
I love
then you get like all these fringe commentators that have so much character.
Oh yeah.
And get away with
they say whatever they want.
Because they're intimately familiar with, if they're playing Pogs or, whatever they're doing. Because they cover it, kind of like how we do this podcast, but they cover ping pong or whatever. Even ping pong wasn't Ocho enough, but it is amazing.
It is amazing. This is one of the great benefits of living in a state like Ohio. And maybe, Wisconsin probably has this. Southern Illinois, I would say not the city part of Illinois. You think, okay, I watched the Ocho a few years ago, and it was like the watermelon seed spitting contest.
Yeah.
And you're thinking in your head, like, there's probably like 5 dudes, and that's it. No, this shit is huge, man. Yeah. There's like crowds there. And it's places like this, like Ohio, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin has the lumberjack games, like the world.
Lumberjack games
or
are
Cub.
amazing. But that's not even the Ocho. That's like legit televised
that was ESPN
stuff.
Yeah, like we had in my hometown, we just had the Cub World Championships. Cub, KUBB. It's the yard. It's the yard game.
Oh.
With the
like
4x4s. No, like it's a lawn. Think of lawn darts, except you're trying to like knock down the other players.
Oh, interesting.
It's the next bags or ladder golf or whatever. But
yeah, ladder golf. That's what I was thinking. Now the game that you introduced me to with the bottle.
Oh yeah.
The frisbee thing.
Yeah.
We brought that to Nashville with the baseball team.
Yeah.
And it was just an absolute home run.
Really?
Not to use a pun, but like the dads loved it.
God.
They congregated around it.
Right.
And it was the whole evening.
Everyone looks at it and they're like, "Oh, I could easily do this."
Yeah. No.
Like if you play like the
awesome.
legit. Yeah. Did you
what
use real bottles?
Again? We use the game as it is boxed. No, not real bottles.
Okay, so you use
bottle.
the.
I can't remember what it's called, but there's a frisbee game that you knock a bottle off the top. It's so much fun. It is. You think it's like you walk up to some of these games. You walk up and you're like, "This game's gonna be so stupid."
Yeah.
And then you play it and you're like, "I can't believe how awesome this game is." And that was what happened with that bottle game. Anyway,
people call it Beersby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Beersby.
Beersby.
People call it Tasso. That sucks. Get that shit out of here. Beersby.
So there are.
You can build it yourself too.
Yeah, people who build it themselves, and I think that's how it originated. But anyway, I just don't think there's an appetite in America for the High Wire Act anymore.
I remember the content.
Yeah, what's content? Do you want to say
content? Yeah. So we put a comment out there, and Chuggalo Mom, who's actually less than 50 yards from me right now, she said that she tunes in not because of the beer, but because of the other content. Because we talk, I mean, it's almost pop culture-esque for two angry, approaching middle-aged white guys.
Well, that was the joke about the mole people. I know that it kind of got away from us for a while, but the joke with the mole people is that we kind of mark the time of as it moves, you know. We talk about pop culture.
That's what
you know what's going on, like COVID. There's a lot of episodes where you're going to be like, well, clearly COVID was going on during that time. When you look back 10 years from now.
Again, where some of our episodes were upended, like, I might have been in or contact. Yeah. The interesting thing is, when we started this, because we've talked about anniversaries, we've just taken the bar conversation, because bar conversations are wide-ranging and everything, and we just hit the record button. We talk about beer. Beer is the backdrop. Exactly. Beer is the great unifier. But then we just talk about, random stuff. And if the wide-ranging things that we talk about in every episode, that's what keeps it going, and that's what keeps it fresh. And again, as JT so eloquently put it, that's really the timestamp.
It's the timestamp
on where we are.
I've had 5 good full years of practicing this elevator pitch where people ask me, like, how did this podcast start? Yeah. Especially when they hear about Butt Chug. And I'm like, we did a happy hour. You start something and it has a lot of support. People are really excited about it, and a lot of people show up. And slowly over time, people drop off. And I think our first happy hour maybe had 6 or 7 attendees. Yeah. And slowly but surely, I don't know if it was weekly or bi-weekly, it started to have just little support. And eventually it was just you, me, and Cobra. And that's when we were like, maybe we should record this.
Yeah, like Hoff was there.
Yeah, Hoff was there. Nord-Dog, yeah. Randy Orton for the podcast listener. DBC, yeah.
And that was the core contingent, and I remember we've outlasted the bar that we had the conversation
at. That's right, because we did outlast the bar.
I went through my car, and this is such a big beer, and Stev's going to be like, guys can tell when you drink the high grab stuff. Don't worry, the next one's not as high grab.
Stev is so much of a super fan that he's basically part of the show.
Yeah. And
one real quick, I'll shout to Stev's new tattoo.
Stev got a new tattoo?
He got
he was just down in Louisville.
You're not gonna know what it is, but I've
milk dud between his butt cheeks.
So close. I've often told you need to watch this show. It needs to be part of your lexicon. I Think You Should Leave has a skit called The Driving Crooner, and he got the Driving Crooner tattoo, and it is Chef's Kiss superior to all other tattoos.
Interesting. Driving Crooner. I'm going to look it up.
Yes, you need to watch
This is why it's nice to have a computer. Usually this is doing the recording.
The Driving Crooner is an excellent sketch. So
it's a song.
For people who don't know about I Think You Should Leave, Tim Robinson was formerly a Saturday Night Live writer, and he took basically all the sketches that Lorne Michaels denied, and he turned it into a Netflix show. That's it, Cigar in a Hat. But that's a poor version of it. Okay. So the Cigar in the Hat, the Driving Crooner is basically this man puts on his car window a hat, that like fedora-like hat, and a cigar, so that when people pass by him, it looks like he's wearing the hat and smoking the cigar.
It's hilarious.
Like it sounds not funny.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's funny. So basically, Tim Robinson took all of the sketches that Lorne Michaels turned down, and he turned it into a Netflix show. So it's sketches. There's sketch comedy, but they're so quotable, and they're like, it almost makes me think that if Lorne Michaels had said yes, Saturday Night Live would still be like the beating heart of comedy. But it has fallen by the wayside.
It has fallen. I think because of content. There's just so much out there.
There is a lot of content, but somehow Tim Robinson has mastered it.
And then the other thing, I was going to say with Saturday Night Live, damn it, I lost my point.
Sorry.
No, that's
anyway.
Fine.
So outshout to Stev's tattoo.
Impractical Jokers is my show.
Okay. I've watched Impractical Jokers, and there's just times where I'm like...
It's my hotel show. If you turn on True TV, 95% chance it's going to be Impractical Jokers.
There's a few times that I've watched Impractical Jokers and been like, I think that maybe they've gone too far. They're bad people. And like the kids painting class.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
I thought this at a certain point you have to think, we fucked up.
If I was going to be one of the, are you familiar with the Impractical Jokers enough? The four of them.
Well, like I've watched a few of the really bad ones.
I identify with one of the guys. I think everyone has one of the guys in them. I have one of the guys in me. I know that that's probably going to be a good. I have one of the guys in me, but are you?
They're trying to turn the frogs gay.
I don't know. Who would you say, or do you not feel that you know them well enough?
Well, I feel like the guy that he's. Yeah, I do. I feel like he's the skinnier guy with the buzz cut.
Skinnier guy with the buzz cut.
Yeah, I feel like
the skinny
guy's
guy's the bald one.
Of the guys, the guy with the buzz cut. I'll look it up in a second. When you start reviewing the beer, there's one guy who I think like typically when you're in a group of friends, everyone's in on the joke. But every once in a while, one person's not in on the joke. The guy on the left.
Okay, yeah. So Murr. Yeah.
Like I feel like every once in a while he's not
bald.
in on the joke.
Yeah.
And that's me. Sometimes I'm just not in on the joke, and I just I didn't know I wasn't in on the joke. I felt like I was in on.
That's
the joke.
who you feel you are.
Am I describing him correctly? Like he feels like he's in on the joke, but sometimes
he plays a good thin man.
I don't understand that.
So Abbott and Costello, it's a really old.
Okay, he plays the good thin man.
He's the pincushion sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, he's the pincushion. Exactly. Sometimes I feel like that's who I play, and it's not intentional because, we all have our own opinions of ourselves, and I'm not a cocky person, but I do feel sometimes that my comedy chops, my understanding of other people's comedy is superior to most. Like I feel like I just get it, but sometimes I'm not in on the joke, and it does. It fucks me up.
My observation is your comedy is best delivered orally rather than textually.
Oh,
'cause
100%.
I
I try to joke with you on text.
What the fuck is going? Yeah. And I'm not just texting. But
I'll be like, Matt will say something and I'll text him like, I'll just kill myself then, and he'll be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
it's a joke. It's for sure a joke.
You're very dry and sardonic. Over text, and then your deadpan delivery, but like that wry smile that you have or whatever. Like now, but that doesn't come through textually. That's true. This is delightful.
Love it. This is a great beer, and Stev, you're right. Stev's he's gonna hit it. He's gonna hit it. Before we even mention Stev's name,
it's Labor Day.
It's Labor Day.
Early morning.
I'm working today. I'm not working. This is work.
This is what the unions fought for. Like my dad would say. My dad, before he sold the company, only got one paid holiday, and it was Labor Day.
No shit?
Yeah.
Man, that's unfortunate. Labor Day has a crazy history.
It very much
riotous history.
Yeah, Upton Sinclair,
Chicago. The fire at the factory.
Concrete jungle, or with the kids working, putting their little
arms. Oh, the kids, yeah.
And now there's states. Oh my God, there's states that 12 and 13-year-olds are working full-time jobs
in America.
Yeah, in the United States.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's becoming more and more prevalent. Go guess.
West Virginia,
New York,
West Virginia.
But it's crazy.
Technically, my kids are working. Like the amount of baseball that they put themselves through.
Yeah.
I put them through it, but they put themselves through it because I give them the option to quit.
It's a game.
They're working full time.
They should try to make it the
all right,
show.
That's the Can Our Boner segment brought to you by Craig. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah. Do you think that was the longest Can Our Boner segment of all?
Hands down, the longest Can Our Boner segment.
Pretty close.
I don't even think we talked about the can. Maybe once.
No, there's this guy, Silhouette, the Winlindas, and Upton Sinclair.
I'm almost done with this beer, and it's becoming almost an emergency that I talk about this because
you're gonna forget.
I'm not going to remember the flavor
of
this beer. This beer is hands down just an anomaly amongst the barley wines.
God, it
is
is such a blend, though.
My biggest problem with porters. And I know this. I'm just hear me out, because I know I'm going off on a tangent again.
My biggest problem with Cheetos. This is the beer podcast, not the
My biggest problem with porters is that they all have this underlying similarity. The same thing with stouts is that you get this coffee undertone, and whatever you can do above that, that's how we rate you.
Yeah.
With barley wines, it's like you can be anything. You can be a ballerina, you could be a baseball player, you could be a weightlifter. It doesn't fucking matter. You could be whatever you want. And what they've done here is they've taken the barrel aged concept and they've masked it with just solid beer. I mean, I don't know. Barley wine doesn't have an underlying flavor. There's nothing where you're like, you taste it and you're like, that's a stout, that's a porter. No.
Barley wine is just a canvas.
Barley wine is a canvas, exactly. And it can be anything. And that's what they've done. And I think making the barley wine the highlight was the right move in this beer, because it's basically just a balanced, smooth. I'm almost I'm tempted to hold back on saying dark beer, because it is, but it's not, because what it delivers is there's not much left to even talk about because I have so little beer in here. What it delivers to you is sort of a bitter juice. It's like a bitter, but it's not. Oh, man, how do I even describe this beer? It's this is the only equivalent to this is a butter top filet mignon.
Wow.
That has a savory. It has a savory meat saltiness to it. There's like that cooked fat, and then you have like that butter on top that just kind of gives it a saltiness. And then maybe even if we're talking like Pine Club, maybe you have like that cream spinach that kind of balances everything out and just makes your palate, like refreshes your palate. I think that's what the quad's doing, because I can't really pinpoint what that is because I don't really know. But there's a beer, there's a beerness to this beer.
Yep.
That's like, okay, I'm not drinking a stout. I'm drinking a beer. I guess the flavor of this beer is barley wine. The aftertaste is beer, is like that quad probably, maltiness. And it's so balanced that none of those three things take over. The barrel-aged part doesn't really peek its head out, other than the fact that it's got this richness to it. I wouldn't even describe this beer as dark. But it is just, man, one more taste.
I wonder if this would age well while you're drinking.
I don't know, in a can, it probably not.
No, but like I could sit this in my cellar. Not age it. It's not going to improve on its flavor, but like I could sit it for 5-6 years and we could revisit it.
At a 10%, you only get a real hint of that alcohol on the nose, but otherwise this beer is all just flavor. It's very good. It's very balanced. It hides its darkness. I wish I could come up with more articulate words to describe this beer. 10th anniversary, you definitely nailed this beer. You did what you needed to do on your 10th anniversary. I have to give this beer a 5.
Wow.
It's amazing. This beer is really, really, really good.
It's probably still available at Pat's.
Well, I'm going to go get some.
I'll check on
I'll be going into Beaver Creek tomorrow, so I'll probably get it.
I can check on my way home, too.
Pat's is in Beaver Creek. For all those that don't know, it's on Kemp. It's on the corner of Kemp and
He actually had this one in the cooler. This beer didn't need to be in the cooler.
Some of the ones that say keep cold aren't in the cooler.
Yeah, this one doesn't need to be in the cooler.
But Kemp and Grange Hall, Pat is probably our biggest supporter who doesn't support us.
Unknowingly. Oh, I asked him via chat, because again, this is going to piss me off. One of my favorite beers of all time is Double Two Hearted. I love the entire series.
Great beer.
I like Lighthearted, Half-Hearted, again, a name that they should explore. Two Hearted and Double Two Hearted. Again, I don't think Ohio sells it, because I reached out to Pat and I go, do you have Double Two Hearted coming or anytime soon? And he goes, it's not released yet. And I go, bullshit, because everyone on Craft Beer Geeks is like fucking keystring it. I have 2 people in Minnesota that buy it for me, but we don't get it here. Again, we border the state. I don't know. I don't understand blue laws or distribution or whatever, but it's easily, and it comes in a 6-pack. It's delightful. I would pay $40 for a 6-pack of that stuff. It's the same thing for 120 minute. It's one of those, and that's like buttery, savory beer.
Ooh,
it's fantastic.
That's
You've
what
had
I
a
want.
Double Two Hearted.
Have I?
I swear you have.
I've had Double Boat Show.
Double Two Hearted.
And Double Boat Show is good.
It's got
Not
that
great.
savoriness, and savoriness is hard to achieve.
Beer is savory.
It's one of the most challenging aspects of a beer, in my opinion, to get is that savory that you just keep going. And then it comes in a 12-ounce bottle, so then you're like, it's not even a long neck. So you're like, oh, God, I got to crack another one to get more of that high, that flavor high. So JT, off the top rope, hit all of this is balanced. You took 3 different styles, and I'm gonna rank them. So it's the barley wine, it's the quad, and then it's the stout, because the stout with adjuncts and everything like that you can put in, because quads you typically don't put. It's not like an apricot quad or whatever, because quads come from like the Trappist region. So like if you're familiar, the oldest beer style in the world is a quad or the Trappist style of making beers. Roasty malts. Just looking up the research while JT was going off. So the barley wine is the delivery system. The quad is the texture, and the stout is the piece de la resistance to the beer. It's not relying on adjuncts. It's just the characteristics that you would expect of those beers, and I think it does an exceptional job of doing that. I'm not as high as JT at a 5, but off the top rope, I'm at a 4.75.
Wow,
I'm delighted.
I thought you'd be at a 5.
I'm delighted that I have a couple more of these cans, but it's interesting because everyone knows this as a sour and IPA. If you
Right.
look at like barley wines and the ABV, and the Chuggalos Dev is going to laugh at us. It's probably going to be a very impregnated episode. The higher the ABV, does really well on this.
The
podcast.
higher the ABV,
balanced.
Hidden. Yeah. If you can hide like a 14, you're getting a 5 from this podcast.
And again, so like I'm reading other people say a sweet chocolate. This is more of like
I can see it.
I don't get sweet. I
Not
get chocolate, but
I do get chocolate,
like a high percentage cacao, or like something like 79 north
bitter
of that.
chocolate.
Like, a bitter chocolate,
not a sweet,
but not bitter on
There's
like
nothing sweet about it.
just that tone to pair with that malt.
Yeah.
And again, so barley wine for sure. Glad I was apprehensive when I wrote it down. Then the quad, then the stout.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way I can put it.
I agree.
And I'm glad, because I'm trying to work this as we talk. I'm trying to work it out of our palate.
I was doing the same thing. I'm like, this beer has a certain, it's registering in certain ways, but I can't describe it. So yeah, that's good.
And I try. We did it for a while. Like, what would make this beer a 5 or whatever? I would just amp it up a little bit, like amp up that alcohol just a little bit.
Really?
But then, does it destroy the balance?
Yeah, because I think the alcohol already comes out on the nose.
Yeah.
If you bumped it up more, I think you'd ruin the beer.
Yeah, and there's a reason that they've been doing this for 10 years. It's crazy. When we started the podcast, they've only been doing it for 4 years.
Holy shit.
Right? But they've got
they've
got a brew pub in Cincinnati.
What you're saying is that we raised Highwire as our own.
We raised
them as our child
from infancy.
If they only knew. I mean, do they listen? Who knows?
Oh yeah, who knows? But they do have a location in Cincinnati. So, but on to beer number 2.
But
this is one I've sat on for a while. I've gone into my fridge. I've wanted a sour, and this has been the only one there. And I'm like, I have to wait. I have to play the game honestly. This is 450 North, Slushy XL series. Finish him. JT, I've given you so much to talk about with this can.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be
a million things.
This might even be longer than the first Canner Boner.
I don't know. That was pretty long.
So this is a mango, lychee, and pawpaw smoothie style sour ale. 5.3%. Again, 450 North. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
A little delay. It wasn't as primed as the first one.
We did do a little bit. JT
we rolled it.
Oh yeah, JT knew that a 450 North was coming because we did a little bit of a pre-production.
Man, I feel like I have to clean my palate here.
450. Again, I had so much to talk about. I had a real battle if we were going to do this one first or this one second. I wanted to go with the booze.
I think you picked the right order.
Maybe we'll see. So I was doing my 450 research this morning at like 5:30. They have two websites. One is 450northbrewing.com. It's great. We've talked about it multiple times. Above that, though, if you just type in 450 North, it's 450beerrelease.com. Oh. So I looked at it because I was like, fuck, I'll order beer, especially 450, if I can get it. They just did a beer release last week, 27 August or whatever. It's completely sold out. It's the Heroes versus Villains. So they do like Clark versus Lex, Lizard versus Monkey, Harry versus the Dark Lord, all completely sold out. The interesting thing, all of these 4-packs, $23.54 a 4-pack.
I think that we're mature enough to where we should have a partnership with a brewery, with multiple breweries, and they should have sent us some of this to review. You know, like I look at baseball bats for my sons.
Yeah.
And there's a few YouTube channels that they just get the bats, and they hit with them, and they give their reviews. That's what we should be. Because
Barry Bonds famously used an ash bat, and everyone thought it was...
Well, ash bats are no longer being used.
No, but he was one of the... He was predominantly an ash bat hitter, correct?
Well, yeah, but we're still in the metal bat territory.
Yeah, oh, metal bat, okay.
Yeah. Drop 3 BB cores. I don't want to go into all the science there, but...
Ting!
Yeah. BB core basically means that... BB core 0.5 means that the ball, if the bat is just in a still, no motion, when the ball hits it, it comes off the bat at half the speed it hits it with. Which means that you can easily measure your power.
Yeah.
Because if a pitch comes in at 60, the bat's only giving 30 miles per hour to your exit velocity. So if you have an 80 mile an hour exit velocity, it's 50. You're giving 50 miles per hour of power.
Is that when the bat is that in optimal condition? What if it's dented or something?
Yeah, right. If there's, you don't want to use a dented BB core bat. Once you get up to the drop 3 phase of your career, you should not be swinging a dented bat.
And then
it's too serious.
Speaking of exit velocity, did you just see the Acuna, the highest?
Well, it wasn't the highest. Acuna
of the year.
Of the year, someone hit 120 something.
Yeah, Acuna was 123.6.
Oh, okay. So it was Acuna. I know that Jason Dominguez hit the fastest first hit of a career.
Jason, 2 S's, by the way.
2 S's, like Wilson Contreras, 2 L's. And the other Contreras. William, he has 2 L's.
Yeah, well, William traditionally has 2 L's.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. William...
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's Wilson
has 2 L's, too.
Not traditionally.
Not traditionally, but Wilson Contreras has 2 L's. Yeah. Okay. I was not thinking William. Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, once you get to drop 3, you're usually in high school. You should not be swinging a dented bat. If you are swinging a dented bat, let me know, and I will point you in the direction.
I will buy your bat.
I won't buy it per se, but I will point you where you can get a non-dented bat. You shouldn't be swinging a dented bat. Because at that point, your kid's now in a serious territory of baseball. Anyway,
I like learning about that.
Yeah, BB core.
I'm looking up a couple of the fruit that are in this beer.
So the majority of major league bats are BB core, and they that means that 120 miles an hour off the bat. I mean, geez Louise, what was the pitch? I wonder what the pitch speed was.
I don't. Crap, I didn't know.
Because you'll get half of that pitch speed off your bat. The rest is all power, and Acuna's got some power. And he uses a top-heavy bat. My kids use a balanced bat, so it doesn't swing. It doesn't swing heavy. It doesn't matter. No one cares. No one cares about what we're talking about right now.
No, I like, because they got soapbox. It frustrates me to no end that we both have MLB TV. And when the game goes to like a Peacock or an alternate service, they take it off MLB, which we have.
They black it out.
And they make you go to that service, which is fine. We have Peacock or whatever. So I had Peacock up, and fuck Peacock because it wasn't working. So I had to go to an alternate site to be able to watch the game yesterday.
Ridiculous.
And again, don't even get me started on blackouts because, we would need another couple of these beers to...
Blackouts are ridiculous.
But, like, I understand, simulcast it to that alternate service or whatever. Like, they're trying to justify everyone's ability to be able to carry or make it viable. And now, I can't wait for the cacophony of crap that comes out for YouTube because YouTube bought the NFL ticket. And for them to break even on the NFL ticket, they're going to have to quadruple their subscription rate just to break even on what they paid for the NFL ticket. Because so many people are willing to pay for whatever to follow it. But YouTube, you're going to have to quadruple your current subscription rate.
That's not going to happen.
And it's not going to happen.
The furthest I've ever gone on a Sunday ticket was buying the Red Zone channel.
Yeah, that's how in the Jaguars to get people to come to Jacksonville before they're going to be a viable team, especially they're probably going to win their division. But 3 or 4 years ago, to get people to come to the game, they would broadcast Red Zone.
Really?
Not the game. They would broadcast Red Zone. And again, because they couldn't sell tickets.
I think that football.
But now they're going to be an exciting team.
Football. I have really strong opinions on football. I think the psychology of football is really tied to gambling and fantasy, and I think without fantasy football, the NFL as a whole it would be a pretty dark sport. I mean, people are getting fucking concussions and they're killing themselves, and it's a horrible.
It's a long play.
Reality, yeah, it's a horrible reality. What?
It's a long play by baseball to make themselves more the centerpiece of American sports fandom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because basketball is the secondary world sport to soccer.
Yeah, world sport, yeah. But with football, I think without fantasy, it doesn't survive. Gambling helps. But anyway.
I have so many thoughts on this. I had to look up the fruit that were in this beer because there's 2 fruit that I've never heard of.
Really? Yeah.
So
Same.
So anyways, while JT, I want you to figure that out while you do. Yeah. Again, check out Beer Released at 450 North Beer Release. Their smoothie style. There's a lot of people in Dayton right now looking to smoothie style beers. The interesting thing is Sarah, our friend Sarah from Barrel House, she chimes in on all these and goes, "We have multiple smoothie style sours on the lines at any one time. Plus, they carry the biggest selection of 450 North in the area.
They do carry that. They also carry Fruth, and they carry the that dog.
Out of Maryland. I know where.
You know what I'm talking about?
The slush puppy, but
right.
For RAR.
Right. Yeah.
Out of Maryland.
They do carry a huge selection of sours and smoothies.
And they do, and again, it's just that we go to Pat because we work in that area. Otherwise,
and Pat's a good guy.
And Pat's a good guy.
They're good people too.
But we try to spread the wealth. That's why the localized. Otherwise, last year again, shout to the Advent calendar.
What we spend on the Advent calendar makes up for not going.
There's a reason why we have to give them a heads up when they come.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I was looking it up is the fruit mango we've heard of.
Yeah.
Mango comes out.
Mango.
Lychee and pawpaw. So lychee.
Yeah, let's hear what that is.
I'm gonna show JT pictures so he can react to what lychee is. Lychee's out of Southeast Asia. It looks like a raspberry. Okay. So if you look up Lychee, it's a small, and it looks like it's almost got like a Advil. If you look, JT. Like in the middle there, like a gel pill.
Yeah, it looks like a gel pill. Yeah.
But it's got white flesh, red. It looks like a raspberry, but white flesh on the inside.
It looks like those things that you get stuck to your pants when you walk through the woods.
And and then
Spiky.
a pawpaw
Spiky.
is known for the eastern side of the United States, which we're currently on, and it's a small deciduous tree, so that means it loses its leaves, but it's a small white fruit.
Oh, interesting.
So who goes
What is that?
interesting on these individuals at $4.50 to put these two fruit that I've never heard of, you can't get at most stores, into a beer. But the mango is the body. The mango is the characteristic that comes through. I'm not familiar with, on my palate, I could look at the descriptions or whatever, but both of them are going to be tartar, sweeter bursts of flavor.
Well, I think you could tell the white fruits because they're like pear-like. Juicy,
But you can't say that with dragon fruit. Dragon fruit's not pear-like, and it has white flesh.
Okay, fair enough. So typically the XLs are
Leche is a soapberry.
very liquidy. It's a what?
Soapberry family.
A soapberry.
Yeah, you know what a soapberry. That's what it's just.
Yeah, I know soapberry. Yeah. I'm very well versed in the soapberry family. So we've discussed this before. 450 has the XL, XXL, and XXXL, and as you go up the X's, they get thicker. Much more
Carry it, JT.
much more of the glass that you drink out of will be coated in beer as you increase the number of X's that appear on the can. Now, this is the Can Art Boner segment brought to you by Chuggalo Craig. Finish Him is a callback to the famous arcade and maybe PS1 game, Mortal Kombat. Finish Him. It's been around for a long time. It's on multiple game systems. I'm the wrong person to be talking about game systems because I don't play video games. That's fun fact. But I do know about Mortal Kombat, and on here there's a bunch of like monk-like alien creatures. But the key feature here is the ice ball that's heading towards the slush thing, and Sub-Zero is the person who throws that, and Sub-Zero throws ice balls at people because he's Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero temperatures of weaponry. All of his weapons are Sub-Zero. And there's like a Chinese New Year dragon in the back, a couple of them. So this is a very, like Asian-inspired can art because of Mortal Kombat and the idea of Mortal Kombat being like the Asian martial arts versus like the South American martial arts, which would be like jiu-jitsu and stuff. The Asian martial arts have more artistry, I believe. The dragons and the Sub-Zeros and the whatever these guys are.
Monks.
Monks. That's what I said originally when you were in the bathroom. How'd you like the urinal?
I started peeing in the toilet before I went.
What?
I know. I didn't want to stop midstream.
Did you not realize there was a urinal in there?
Not till I was peeing in the toilet.
I thought I've made it a huge point to point
You've
out
told
that
me
I've
multiple
had a
times. I was like, oh
urinal
yeah,
in there,
you
and
told me.
everyone loves it.
I love that how you have the motion light set up, by the way, like just on top.
Into the urinal, yeah.
It didn't activate, but maybe the battery's dead.
It's too bright out.
Because I have them on my toilets. I love them.
Yeah, they're great. I'm not a huge mango fan. Well, okay, that was the Can Art Boner segment brought to you by Chuggalo Craig. I'm not a huge mango fan, but you can't really taste the mango in this beer. I think it's hidden well. I think the mango probably serves as more of a texture than anything else. And I think the pawpaw, if I'm not mistaken, being more of like a white fruit, has the majority of the flavor in this beer. It kind of has like it has a cleanness to it, has a clean nose on the breath out. On the taste in, we've been kind of a little buried by this high wire beer. But overall, I think that the flavor is understandable. It just kind of has a very candy-like, really, maybe not candy. more of a. Man, I just can't pinpoint what this.
Pawpaw. I'm gonna while you're doing that. Pawpaw have a sweet custard-like flavor similar to banana,
custard-like.
mango, and cantaloupe.
Okay, well now things are starting to make sense. So that like muted creaminess is probably coming from the pawpaw. And I actually think that the pawpaw is probably, based on the description you gave for the lychee and the pawpaw, I think that's probably the most prominent flavor here. Man, this beer's really good. 2 great beers today. Man, what? I don't know. I have to ask myself, if I'm not giving this the highest score, what would make it the highest score? I think it needs a little bit more of a distinctive fruit flavor that you can identify. In this beer, there's a lot of just flavor. It's packed with flavor. It's packed with sweetness. It's packed with fruit, but it's like unidentifiable. And I think that might hurt this beer. I think it's a 4.5 beer. It's very, very good. It's just, I think it needs an identity.
The interesting thing with this beer is
Now I'm going to do what you did.
the foreignness it is with the fruits. And what I mean by that, no one in their vernacular is familiar with lychee or pawpaw. I've never met anyone, and I challenge the world to introduce me to somebody that has one of those 2 fruits as their favorite fruit. People are familiar with mango, and I humbly disagree with JT. I think the mango, because that's, I guess, what my brain is trying to identify with, is that mango is what carries this. And when I was looking up, I was doing the research. So lychee is sweet with slight floral and acidic notes, which sounds like something that we would really like. So floral, to give that sweetness on the nasal passages, on the nose, but then the slight bitter, which would work well in a sour, and then that banana mango custard of that pawpaw fruit. So on paper, like if you know your fruit and the individuals, the cacophony of knowledge that they have to hit that twice at 450 is second to none. And when you take all of that, so you're doing a mango and the pawpaw, which makes sense, and then the lychee is giving it that sour or that acidic vibe. So on paper, this beer seems like it should work. Why this beer isn't a 5 is probably people's unfamiliarity. Like, if we went to, like, Southeast Asia and found out some, like, connoisseurs or whatever, like, did we do the lychee justice? Did we do the pawpaw justice? Because I don't think we know what we're having here, and we're breaking new territory. Yeah. And that's interesting. But as like a mango beer, you could say it's mango with these other adjuncts. I think it's there. My daughters, we have a mango beer, a mango fruit that
mango beer.
Not mango beer, mango juice, like that comes by 5s. By 5s, one of the flavors are mango or whatever.
Yeah, bye.
So this sound or this tastes like a mango with other, like, I get that bitterness unit at the end, bitterness unit, because I'm talking IBUs all the time with beer. Man, it's interesting, and I wanted to say, like, this is my favorite style of beer to open in the morning. I love 450 North.
450, great beer in the morning.
In the morning, it's the best because you don't want something. You don't want to have like a heavy IPA. You don't want to have a 120 minute or a Chomolonga. That's a brown ale, but like Jackie O's or like a bunch of like heavier IPAs. You want to have something fresh, vibrant, wake you up in the morning. This beer I wouldn't be displeased with if it was put in front of me in the morning. I got a couple more of them. These are going to be morning beers in the next coming weekends. Off the top rope, I give this a 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
I'm really curious,
Excellent.
like somebody that's familiar with those fruits, if they did it justice.
Did they do it justice? I agree. I would like to know the same thing.
Would you give it, JT? Sorry, I didn't write it down.
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah. I wonder the same thing, and I also wonder morning time, morning beers. So we've had in our history, we've had a coffee sour.
Yeah.
I would like to see what 450 could do with that, but the coffee sour was well regarded on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. It just, again, I love it. It could be 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll crack a smoothie style fruited beer.
It's good stuff to have in the morning. It's almost like a fruited cereal,
especially on vacation, long weekends.
Yeah.
And again, it's nice to be drinking, one, in the Carriage House, but two, be drinking high gravity beers with JT, and three,
big time.
Early in the morning. Because now
morning.
the rest of the day is ours.
The rest of the day is
and this is
in our control.
This is why I say that day drinking, I've completely changed. I'm not a nocturnal drinker anymore.
Yeah.
I like drinking, taking a solid nap or whatever like that. And then like a bourbon or whatever to settle me down, or like a
solid nap. I've become such a fan of naps. I don't.
And a solid nap for me is 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, same.
But give me my quiet time.
Yeah, be quiet. Let me have 20 minutes to just take a quick nap. And then the rest of the day is going to be great.
I'm going to fall asleep to some crappy movie.
Yes.
So I want to challenge you. If you've ever had this, we both have 2 kids.
Yeah.
So a couple nights ago, drinking story, we were playing Life with our daughters, 7 and 4. And they understand, do the spinner, make decisions. It's easy. Mm-hmm. One of them is...
Life is hard.
One of the action cards is pay the person that drew this card $50,000, and they'll go make you a drink. All the my daughters knew that was a purple one, and they go, "Mommy, kitty cocktail." Mommy, kitty cocktail. So this is again the Wisconsin. There's no booze in it, but
it sure is kitty cocktail.
And my wife goes,
the same thing.
And Stacey goes, "Do you want anything?" I go, "Yeah, fine. I'll take a brandy old fashioned." So then she scurried away and made our drinks.
Brandy
and that's in the game of life.
That sounds cool.
And that's in the game of life.
I didn't know that.
So it's probably the best action card you can get.
Yeah,
so all of us, and she made $150,000 in the game. She ended up winning.
Yeah,
I don't think that wasn't the margin of victory. She won by like $300,000 or $400,000.
Oh, wow.
But it was close. She made $100 just to scurry off and go make.
I need to get this game.
The game of life.
Yeah, I know. I've played the game of life, but not with my kids.
Probably the old school. Old school. I think they've we have the update. We don't have the old school one. Yeah. It's the updated one. But still,
I like
spinner
the idea
with the
of
card.
getting a drink in the middle of a game. That's cool.
And that player has to make. It's like tell a joke if the player laughs. So my 4-year-old told me a joke.
Did you laugh?
Of course I did.
Of course you laughed.
Yeah.
Of course you laughed.
But again, that's JT, do you have one more in you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, pick one out.
All right, let's do it.
This is going to be a bonus episode because we've been talking about doing live episodes and stuff like that, and I know we try to keep them condensed or whatever, but this is what just came out.
Yeah, I mean,
God, your fridge.
We just got this.
Chuggalos, I wish you could see this.
I'll show.
Okay. Because and
here's the carriage house. Here's the fridge. Let's tilt this down.
Look at that.
Here is the fridge.
Fancy. Look at that.
Look at that.
Excuse the Mountain Dew. Everything else.
Oh, Mountain Dew's good.
Booze.
Put that down there.
Is that a Jack Yost Perpetual in there too?
Oh, look
I didn't even notice that because I didn't look.
If you've gotten dizzy because of the camera movements, and
on the door too.
Well, on the door.
Jeez.
These beers here are my select ones.
Don't touch
These
it.
are all just not alcohol.
Yeah. Where's your birthday beer? Because I don't see any of the big bombers. Do you have a secondary location?
Birthday beer. I'll show you where the birthday beer is at. Let's go ahead and do that there. And the birthday beer is over here.
Oh, look, he's got a separate. Ooh, there you go.
There you go. It's got to be in darkness because you don't want the light to ruin it.
Yeah, you don't want it to pollute it.
So that's there. I got a couple in my basement.
And look at that shelf. Boys and girls, he's bearing the lead. He still has a shelf.
That's all free shit. If you guys want some of that beer, you can have it. That's just like
Royce, you
beers that I bought as 4-packs, 6-packs that we had on the podcast that I don't have time to drink it all.
You've got a spotted cow over there.
You want a spotted cow? I got tons of spotted cow.
My wife
spotted
just brought
cow in the fridge.
my wife just brought home 2 cases.
Well, there's some spotted cow in the fridge if you want it. Where did the paper go that goes with this? There's a piece of paper.
Ooh, it's got canned on date on it too, and it's a smart beer. We didn't go.
Where did this paper?
We didn't go big on this one.
Is it in my pocket? No.
Ball related. You heard about the sale, right? Did I tell you?
No, I didn't know about this.
Ball Aerospace is sold.
Ball sold. Ball Aerospace. Sold.
Ball Aerospace because Ball Corporation wanted to pay off their $9 billion in debt. You know,
I didn't know that.
Corporations carry debt or whatever, so they sold off Ball Aerospace for $5.6 billion to BAE.
Wow.
So all of the space, all of the Intel engineering, everything like that. If you look at Ball, because we have Ball stock, the percentage he just doesn't know. And if I die, some of it goes to you. That's fine.
Wow, thank you.
The piece of the pie, 10% of it is Ball Aerospace.
Wow.
But all of our cans, beer related, most of them are Ball cans.
Most of them are Ball cans. All right. This is Driver Nation. My Chuggalo mom brought this. Sherman and Tingles Driver Nation American Premium Lager.
Is that the name? Is that the name of the show, Sherman and Tingles?
Yeah.
There's no more.
The two guys.
There's no more primed can in the world.
This is the most primed can I've ever had.
This is more like my daughter. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
My daughters could open that.
This
can.
is the most primed can we've ever had.
So
now
that's an automatic 2.0.
If anyone is familiar with American history, the disco demolition was conducted by. Was it Steve Dahl? I think his name is. Who worked for The Drive. 97.1 FM is a oldies station. Now it's a classic rock, not oldies. It's classic rock. But at the time it was all of the like modern rock music, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC.
This is a Chuggalo mom beer.
Yeah. She
finds the best gimmick beers.
Yeah.
That. No, and again, she cares about conversation over beer content. Whether it's the Christmas staple beer or whatever, like the that we asked her to go get back out, like the loaded popcorn or something like that.
Oh yeah. The Garrett's. Garrett's popcorn. Yeah.
That I'd never heard of, and JT was aghast.
Oh, Garrett's is very famous in Chicago.
In Chicago, yeah, very famous.
Very famous in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, if you go to a Cubs game, you get Garrett's popcorn.
So I love all these gimmick beers because then the other one was like the one that was brewed with the grocery store.
Yeah, Tischler's.
Yeah.
So my mom printed this out. The Drive wants to turn your summer into up to 11 with a little something that's sure to quench your thirst. Introducing Sherman and Tingle's Drive Nation American Premium Lager. Sherman and Tingle have partnered with Crystal Lake Brewing to bring Drive listeners a new, crisp, clean, classic craft beer with you in mind.
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
With you.
All of us.
All of us.
How good is Drive Nation Lager? So good, it just won a gold medal at the American Premium Lager category at the 2023 United States Open Beer Championship. And when you raise a toast to the Drive Nation Lager, with Drive Nation Lager, you're helping Sherman and Tingle raise funds to support our friends at the American Veteran Service Dog Academy. So this beer helps train service dogs for veterans with PTSD. And I actually heard an interesting statistic. This past week, more veterans, I don't know if this is veterans period or veterans since the GWAT started, Global War on Terror, have committed suicide than have died in the Vietnam War.
I'm just trying to, I would have no difficulty believing that statistic.
I think that statistic is totally true. It's very difficult to be a veteran of war in the United States.
It's publicized more what the Vietnam vets came home to, a very unwelcoming citizenry.
Yeah. People who didn't
GWAT individuals didn't have that.
Right.
They were embraced, discounts everywhere.
You guys, You guys fought for our country. Here's a discount at Applebee's.
But the actions or services rendered or provided to those individuals that bring home scars that are unseen pale in comparison to what that group of individuals needs.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I have that contextualized.
No, I think you did. And this beer supports the training of service dogs, which I think, in my experience, there's nothing more comforting in life than a dog. Than a dog who sees you as the center of their life. And so, this beer supports service dogs. Anyway, not to bring it down.
No. I've been, yesterday I watched Chuggalo Pete's dog, Finn. And Finn is his center of the universe is Pete. And that dog is so, lovable and engaging on an individual level that I went over there and it broke my heart because I don't have an enclosed backyard.
Wow.
So I would love to take Finn. My dog won't leave because she has anxiety issues, but Finn, he's just he's a golden doodle or whatever.
Oh yeah, golden doodle, very popular.
But he's the white he's got white hair or whatever. So anyways, again, those dogs, the service that they render to individuals is unspeakable because they need that.
They know it. I think. So we just got a puppy and it's awesome. Even our skittish dog, she knows that she supports us.
Right.
She supports our emotional health. Anyway, so this beer supports service dog training, but it is from the drive. So it's 97.1, as far as I know, was the same radio station that started the Disco Demolition. And if you've ever watched
I've heard of it.
Drunk History has a good episode about it. Very famous day where the Chicago White Sox, I believe, had a doubleheader. And in between the doubleheader, they asked people to bring in their disco records.
Yep.
Steve Dahl was the disc jockey. And back then, being a disc jockey was basically the equivalent of being...
the mayor.
The mayor. You controlled music. People paid you to play their songs.
The impact you had on society.
Yeah.
There's a reason Howard Stern is the last of a kind.
Yeah.
Because, or Mancow. I think Mancow is
Mancow
Chicago
probably still does stuff. I don't know.
But the impact that you had on society, because people didn't have Apple Player, Android Player, whatever.
Your radio.
Everyone, and it was a battle on what genre you listen to, but the impact that these individuals had on society.
Yeah, exactly. And so they basically said, bring your records to Comiskey Park, and we're going to blow them up in between games.
Comiskey, and it should always be.
And they had so many kids come out, and when I say kids, high school, college-age kids, came out, and it was, I think the capacity of that stadium was 50,000, and they had 60,000 people in the stadium.
Wow.
It was insane. And so they blew up all the disco records in between games, and then they charged the field. And I
didn't know that part.
You guys need to see the documentaries about this. It was an absolute crazy. Players were being assaulted. It was insane. So this is a big deal. The day disco died, I believe, was what they refer to as this day. So that's the Drive. Now the Drive is still around, and they still play classic rock music. At the time, it wasn't classic. It was just normal rock music. Now it's classic rock music, and Sherman and Tingles. They apparently have a show on Drive Nation. I haven't been around in a while.
Does Chuggalo Mom listen to classic rock?
I don't think so.
Chuggalo
Mom's favorite band, as far as I know, is
REO Speedwagon.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Okay, so same genre.
Yeah, same genre. She likes... that's kind of disco.
Interesting.
Casey and the Sunshine Band did... it's blanking me right now. I'll have to think about it. Very famous songs.
Speaking of like quick hitter, does Chuggalos Phil listen?
You know, I thought he did, and he did for a while.
Because he is probably the most
feedback.
sought after. I mean, people want more Chuggalos Dev.
Yeah.
People want Phil. Like
people want Phil.
Again, on the Nerds channel, they're like, "When's Phil gonna be on again?"
Oh
next?
yeah.
Like,
well, on the Nerds channel, he really made an impact.
He made an impact. So
we need to get him back on.
So I'm wondering, like, because we know Stev's gonna listen,
yeah,
and Chuggalo Mom listens.
Yeah.
We need to. Maybe when we get to 100 subs, we need to have Chuggalo Mom on here.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll talk about that on here.
I feel like my mom will be sentimental.
That's if we get to 100 subs, whatever it takes at that time.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Sure.
This was a terrible idea.
Let's also have your mom on.
We're gonna edit it out. But it's not. That's not Chuggalo Mom.
But she listens, right?
I don't know who listens anymore.
Me neither.
Because I know 2 people that like give me live feedback or whatever, but I thought that people that listened, they don't listen anymore.
Oh.
So like the freebie listens that I thought we were getting, we're not getting. Like that I thought were layups.
Yeah, layups, right.
I don't think we're getting layups. At least my layups.
True customers.
True connoisseurs.
Connoisseurs, right.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by customers.
Yeah.
They don't need to
They're
spend
French.
money.
We do well in France.
We're gonna get more.
91 subs.
Up.
Like
we're driving up.
Yeah. I want to do something special for 100 subs.
Let's do it. 100 subs. We get all 100 people out here.
Again, we can't get Royce liked everything.
Come on, Royce. You were liking our stuff, and then you just
maybe he didn't like that episode.
Left. Maybe he didn't like that episode. It's possible.
That's why I threw it out.
It's possible.
Chuggalo Dave. Chuggalo Dave is on it. This is going to be a longer episode, so we might lose some people. We come to the Carriage House, and I just get excited. So
I don't think we'll lose people. I think they'll keep listening.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I mean, there's a couple podcasts.
The problem is, like, we do podcasts, and, like, typical, like, now people, like, fast forward through podcasts, and we have, like, little, like, juicy, like, Arrested Development level bites that we allude to.
Yeah, you have to listen.
They build on each other.
Yeah, you have to listen, otherwise you'll miss something.
Yeah.
And at the end of the episode, we're going to say something, and you're going to miss it. But, yeah, the Drive. It was a good suggestion to have another beer. Drive Nation.
It's an amazing
Driver
story.
Nation. Crystal Lake. So we've had Crystal Lake Brewing on this podcast.
We have.
I can't remember what the beer was. I don't think it was the
It's not Camp Crystal Lake, though.
Not Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah. No, that's Jason. That's where Jason murders people.
Do I still have it?
But there is a Crystal Lake, Illinois, which I thought Crystal Lake.
I have it on here.
What do you got?
The spreadsheet. So it's Crystal Lake Brewing?
Yeah. Crystal Lake Brewing. Easy to drink, hard to put down. It's not on there. Let me look. I have one of those marshmallow beers still.
Did we do it on the pod?
Yeah, Cobra and I did. And
but I wrote down all those beers.
Stay Puft is Wild Onion.
Yeah.
Never mind. We did do Crystal Lake, I think. I just don't remember.
Stay Puft you guys had on the 2nd of December 2020. You guys gave it a 4.75 each.
Wow. I'm glad you said that because I thought I gave it a 5.
Again, that's why I keep it.
Spreadsheet don't lie. And I have been, I've queued up the episodes that you don't have in the spreadsheet, so I don't want you to think that I'm not going to get it to you, but I am. But it's just, I'm so busy all the time. It's like, now I got to go to DC.
Yeah. Things to work on in a hotel room.
That would be perfect. I'll do that, actually. Great point. Anyway.
Get that intro video done.
What do you think? Since this was my submission.
Okay.
Chugalo Mom.
So, typically for the third beer, it's just a conversation beer or whatever.
Oh, we don't have to rate it then?
No. I have notes, though. I actually made notes.
We should rate it.
This is what JT needed at the Bobo in Cincinnati. And the reason being, this is all bread and it's completely crushable. So what I mean by that, it's got some body to it. It would have sustained him because we were drinking all of this like savory deliciousness.
I just got hammered.
And then this is what he needed to keep him going. This is like the Miller Lite of flavorful, crushable beers because it has so much body to it. So again, all the bread, completely crushable. With that, I think Chuggalo Bobby would enjoy this, like if you snuck it into like his normal routine or whatever like that, because it's going to be so flavorful and full, very similar to what we had last week. Again, delightful beer. Do you want me to rate it, or are we just going to keep it?
What do you want to do?
I will say, if I rate this beer, I'm coming up on it. I'm coming up on 2,000. I'm 3 beers away from 2,000.
Wow. Well, rate it.
So I will put this in off the top rope. This is a 3.5.
Wow, 3.5. I'm a little higher on this beer. I think this beer is...
The story is what makes it.
Well, this beer is a great beer to kind of delve into if you're not a craft beer drinker. And the garage door's opening.
The garage door.
I'm not sure what that's about.
Yeah. Oh, maybe Chugalo Mom.
Oh,
She's
man.
doing a live. Is she leaving?
I think this is a 4.0.
4.0?
Yeah, I think this beer is really good. It's smooth. It has the flavor of a muted light beer. Not a muted.
Muted?
Maybe a standard light beer.
Okay.
It has flavor, but it's not overbearing. It doesn't have its own unique identity. I think you can find this flavor in other beers. But it's a safe beer. It comes in at a 4.0.
It's interesting because we went through something like big, rich, flavorful, then we went to a fruity, then we went to like a standard today.
Yeah.
So we went through the whole,
The gamut.
Gamut's the word.
Gamut, damn it. Well, here's the can art in case you want to see it.
It's such the story is what takes it. The day disco died, because I would say that's the second most famous or whatever. The second, it was Dime Beers in Cleveland Municipal Stadium, where they started throwing shit on the field, and I think that was '79 where they did Dime Beers.
Okay.
And there's a reason why they turned off beer sales, and it was completely. I think it was Cleveland Municipal. With the Indians, and they did Dime Beers, and people just got hammered.
And they had dollar hot dogs in L.A., and they threw hot dogs.
Yeah, well, Dodger dogs are terrible.
I don't know what a Dodger dog is.
Not real
What's
meat.
the difference?
Dodger dog, it's just lips and assholes.
Oh, lips and assholes.
Yeah.
Well, this beer has the Chicago skyline, but it's in like a sound, red to green.
Yeah, amplitude.
Levels. Yeah, amplitude. The John Hancock and the Sears Tower, which is now the Willis Tower. No one calls it that. They're in there. That's the can art corner segment.
Yeah, it will always be the
Brought to
Sears
you by
Tower.
Chugalo Mom.
Chugalo Mom.
She gave us this beer.
Does she usurp? Is she going to be the sponsor from here forward?
Well,
Unless
she
we have gift beers?
gave us this beer.
Okay, there we go.
I believe to become the sponsor. If you want to be the sponsor of the can art boner segment, you just give
Royce,
us a beer.
reach out. We will make you the sponsor.
Royce, you could be the sponsor.
We have so much energy going forward. This would go down precipitously, but all good things must come to an end. I don't know if they're coming to an end yet, but
They could.
I don't know if we should do more beer. Probably off camera. Just
You
sit
gave
here
this
and-
a 3.5. I gave it a 4.0.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably
It's
the extent of the episode.
it's extremely crushable. Just
It is.
all the bread.
It's so crushable. I'll at least read what's on the can.
Yeah, read it.
We hear you, Driver Nation. From lakefront concerts to backyard barbecues, good times deserve a great beer. 97.1 FM, The Drive, Sherman and Tingle, along with Crystal Lake Brewing, bring you a crisp, clean, classic lager that goes with everything. From power chords and drum solos to pizza and burgers. Sip, savor, and rock on, Chicagoland.
Do you think we could do a radio show?
Yeah.
So it's 68 in Dayton, it's 68 in Springfield.
Not only could we
in
do a
Beaver
radio show, but we could also be a radio show in the time when music was the king of radio shows. When we
Yeah,
would
because
be-
our music, we
because
don't
we
overlap.
like good
We
music.
overlap a little bit, but
Yeah.
not.
We
you
like
know.
good music, and we could influence the the charts. We could push the music we like, and we like good music.
Yeah.
And we'd be interesting. Right now, I mean, DJing on a radio is like a low form of. It's not what it once was.
It's not what it was.
Prestigious.
But we could break through the noise.
Yeah. I think we could.
As obvious or as evidenced by the number of subscribers and people that we did have an uptick in this last week in people that listened. So. And
I think we could have, if we were in a market, we would have more representation. But we're in several markets.
All the markets.
We're in all the markets. We're in the
worldwide market.
Worldwide market. Well, I think that's it.
That's it.
2:45. Thanks for joining us. Join us next time for another episode.
Extra special.
Bye.